Welcome to our journey into the fascinating world of racing pigeons. In this video we'll explore the greatest pigeon breeds in history, from legendary foundation lines to modern super breeds. Each chapter will cover a different aspect. The early pioneers of the sport, the modern titans that redefined racing, the legendary pigeons that made history, and the breeding, training, and genetic secrets behind champions. Whether you're a seasoned fancier or just curious about these incredible birds, join us as we uncover the history, the science, and the passion behind the world's most famous racing pigeons. In the quiet early morning, before most cities wake and before the sun breaks through the mist, a shape cuts across the sky. Wings sharp in the air. A single pigeon, powerful, relentless, fearless, races home from hundreds of kilometers away with a determination that defies its size. Racing pigeons have lived alongside humanity for thousands of years. They carried messages across battlefields. They saved lives in 2 world wars. They helped build empires, connect continents, and inspire legends. But in the last 150 years, a very different story emerged. The story of the racing pigeon as an athlete. And from this world, a handful of bloodlines rose above all others. Lines that changed the sport. Lines that created champions for generations. Lines that shape the way we breed, train, and think about our birds forever. Today we explore the greatest racing pigeon breeds in history. From the old foundation families that built modern racing, to the explosive modern-day dynasties dominating international competition. This is the story of the birds that redefined what a pigeon can become. Chapter 1: The Roots of Greatness. The earliest influential breeds. Before Kittel, before the Janssen brothers, before Leo Heremans, Koopman, or the modern Olympic champions, there were pioneers, early breeders who shaped the foundation of today's bloodlines. These early breeds were not just strong, they were visionary. They represented the first attempt to make pigeon racing a science rather than a gamble. 1. The Old English Carrier, and the birth of purpose breeding. Long before Belgium became the center of the pigeon world, racing pigeons in England laid the groundwork for genetic refinement. The Old English Carrier wasn't a racing pigeon in the modern sense, but it was one of the earliest birds ever selectively bred for endurance, directionality, message delivery, high intelligence, superior homing instinct. These birds raced primitive distances, traveled with armies, and served noble households. Their blood no longer exists in pure form, but their influence echoes through the centuries. Without them, the concept of selectively breeding pigeons for performance might never have evolved. 2. The Belgian Revolution. Birthplace of modern racing genetics. Belgium, the holy land of pigeon racing. In the late 1800s, Belgium became the epicenter of the sport. Here, the world's first true performance bloodlines emerged, not for message carrying, but for speed, stamina, and competitive instinct. The key early breeds. Pushpin the Wedge family, often called the first elite racing strain. Known for strong bodies, remarkable orientation, natural long-distance ability. Almost every major long-distance family in Belgium carries traces of Wedge. Pushpin the Gruter/Gruters bloodline, a foundation family in the early 20th century, providing deep keel, iron stamina, durability in hard weather. Their genetics became part of dozens of later champions. Pushpin the Van der Wegen, the early era. Before becoming a household name for marathon races, the early Van der Wegen pigeons were built from older Belgian power lines known for their epic endurance. These early Belgian pioneers set the blueprint for all future racing pigeons. 3. The rise of the Janssen era, a turning point in history. Even in a script about the greatest pigeon breeds ever, it is impossible to talk about origins without mentioning the family that changed everything forever. Sports medal: the Janssen brothers of Kranendonk. More than a bloodline, the Janssen pigeon is an icon. Their birds brought something the racing world had rarely seen before. Explosive speed, lightning acceleration, aerial intelligence, agility, consistent winning across generations. They didn't dominate 1 decade. They dominated 7 decades. Almost every modern speed and middle distance champion carries traces of Janssen blood. Heremans-Ceusters, Dirk van Dijk, Van Loon, Meulemans, Ijerkamp, Koopman, de Rosablin, Van den Abel. The Janssen brothers didn't just compete. They created the genetic backbone of the modern racing pigeon. We will explore them in deeper detail in later chapters, because their impact deserves an entire section. But for now, Janssen marks the point in pigeon history where breeding shifted from luck to science. 1. For the Stichelbot Bricu era, the masters of distance. Before modern sprinting bloodlines took over, the kings of the sky were not the fast birds, but the tough ones. Two names ruled the long-distance world. Fire the Stichelbot strain. Created by the genius Alois Stichelbot in the 1920s and 1930s, his birds were legendary for unstoppable drive, undefeatable endurance, success in brutal winds, consistent top performance at 500 to 800 kilometers. Even today, extreme long-distance breeders consider Stichelbot blood a treasure. Fire the Dr. Bricu strain, perhaps the most mysterious of all old-school families. Dr. Auguste Bricu bred pigeons so exceptional that fanciers from around Europe traveled for days just to try to obtain one bird. His pigeons were described as silky soft, intelligent, perfectly built, unmatched in stressful hard-weather races. Many of Bricu's pigeons were destroyed during World War I, making surviving blood even more valuable. Both Stichelbot and Bricu shaped the long-distance world for generations. 1. 5. The Meulemans Van Loon Foundations, the golden Belgian middle distance. As the sport evolved, another style of pigeon began to dominate. The all-rounder, birds that could win at 100 kilometers and at 600 kilometers. Two families defined this transition. White medium star Leo Meulemans und Meulemans, famous for iron muscles, perfect balance, wide racing ability. The Meulemans pigeons became foundational in countless lofts, and are still used heavily today. The Van Loon dynasty. The Van Loon birds were built for speed with stamina, consistency over generations, strong breeding stability. Koopman, Eijerkamp and many modern Dutch champions have Van Loon roots. These families became pillars of modern middle-distance racing. Chapter 2. The Modern Titans, the families that redefined the sport. As the 20th century progressed, pigeon racing underwent a transformation. The old foundation bloodlines still mattered greatly, but a new generation of breeders emerged. Men whose birds didn't just win races, they reshaped the global standard of excellence. These were the modern titans, the creators of lines so dominant that even today, their blood flows through champions across Europe, Asia, South Africa, and beyond. And at the center of this revolution stood one family. 2. 1. The Janssen brothers, the kings of Kranendonk. Kranendonk, Belgium. A small town that became a myth. Inside a modest loft stood the most influential racing pigeons the world has ever seen. The Janssen brothers did not speak much. They didn't travel. They didn't brag. But their birds spoke for them. Their pigeons were the purest expression of explosive takeoff speed, sharp intelligence, perfect muscle quality, natural motivation, breathtaking acceleration. The Janssens didn't chase long-distance glory. They dominated short and middle-distance racing like no one before or after. And the secret? Their pigeons bred true. Generation after generation they threw winners, breeders, and champions. The legendary Janssen lines. Every loft in Europe wanted one thing: Janssen blood. From these birds sprouted entire modern families. Merck's line, power drive. An explosive takeoff. De Witt pen, calm temperament and consistency. De Racket, fierce speed. Oud-Vos/Old Red Fox, powerful breeders. The 019 line, perhaps the most influential Janssen ever. Their pigeons were so good that fanciers traveled across borders, across winter snow, across fields and narrow village roads, just for a chance to buy one young bird. Some waited years. Some never succeeded, because the Janssen brothers rarely sold anything. And when they did, the world changed. The global impact. Janssen blood became the foundation of speed racing worldwide. The Heremans-Ceusters family? Heavily Janssen. Dirk van Dijk's Cannibal line? Janssen. Van Loon? Janssen. Eijerkamp V lines? Janssen. Even the modern sprint phenomenon Kittel? Loaded with Janssen influence. The Janssen brothers didn't just breed pigeons. They created the genetic blueprint for the modern racing pigeon. 2. Leo Heremans Janssen, the rise of lightning speed. If the Janssens were the kings of classic speed, then Heremans-Ceusters were the architects of modern speed. At the start of the 2000s, Heremans pigeons changed everything. They were faster, sharper, and more explosive than anything Europe had seen. What made Heremans-Ceusters unique? Their pigeons had perfect wing aerodynamics, unreal early speed in sprints, fast-thinking intelligence, extreme breeding power, strong orientation in variable winds. Heremans' loft produced birds like the Jan d'Olympiade, Euro. Nuovo Olympiade. Rossi Spinach. These pigeons sold for record prices and became global breeding kings. The Heremans explosion. When Leo Heremans sold nearly his entire loft at auction, the pigeon world shook. Birds sold for 160,000 euros, 200,000 euros, over 250,000 euros. But here's the real story. Within 2 breeding seasons, these pigeons produced champions in the Netherlands, Belgium, China, Taiwan, South Africa, the United States. Heremans-Ceusters became the gold standard of sprint and middle distance, and their influence feeds directly into the Kittel line. 2. 3. Dirk van Dijk, the father of de Cannibal. Few pigeons in history have left a mark as deep as Bird de Cannibal, a champion racer, a super breeder, and the bird that built the Dirk van Dijk dynasty. Cannibal 1. First national ace pigeon KBDB. First provincial. Multiple top prizes at speed. But his real power was in the breeding loft. From him came Box 17 line, Golden Lady, Rambo, Den Bourge, Olympic Niels, and ultimately, the genetic pathway that leads to Kittel. Because without Dirk van Dijk's Cannibal blood, the modern Kittel line would not exist. 2. For Meulemans, the golden muscles of Belgium. Leo Meulemans created one of the greatest all-round lines of the 20th century. His birds were known for soft, silky muscle, long careers, stable breeding ability, strong health, consistent performance on ranges from 100 to 600 kilometers. Famous Meulemans bloodlines. Prince Merks, later boosted by Janssen blood. Bla van 48. The world-famous Oud Meulemans family became a cornerstone of Dutch and Belgian pigeon breeding. Even today, Meulemans blood is found in many foundation cocks across Europe. 2. 5. Louis van Loon, the all-round champions. Another giant. Another dynasty. Van Loon pigeons became synonymous with balance, strong backs, rich feathers, straightforward winning ability. Why were Van Loons so special? They were easy to pair, predictable in breeding, competitive from 200 to 700 kilometers, strong in headwinds, extremely intelligent in trapping. These qualities made Van Loon blood a favorite for Koopman, Iderkamp, de Rossablen, many Dutch national competitors. Even today, Van Loon is considered one of the most reliable foundation lines in the sport. 2. 6. The Rossablen Revolution. There are famous families, and then there are game-changing families. Rossablen, particularly the lines built from Freddy, Figo, and Box 17, became some of the most powerful middle-distance pigeons ever created. Why was Rossablen so dominant? 3 reasons. Deep intelligence, unusual stamina for middle distances, massive breeding power. The Rossablen birds blended perfectly with Van Loon, Janssen, Meulemans, Van den Abel. This made them ideal for modern crossbreeding programs. The global explosion. Rossablen pigeons became superstars in Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, China, Taiwan, South Africa. Entire modern families, especially those of Belgian middle-distance masters, trace back to Rossablen. 2. 7. Gabby van den Abel, the Blue Dynasty. If you've ever seen a pigeon with soft blue feathers, a strong back, and a quiet temperament, there's a good chance it carries Van den Abel blood. The key Gabby lines: Wittenbeek, Kleine, Bliksem, Super Gabby. These pigeons produced champions across the world. Van den Abel birds became known for intelligent racing, steady pace at middle distances, remarkable breeding value. When Gabby retired and auctioned his birds, prices shattered expectations, because everyone knew Van den Abel blood wins everywhere. 2. 8. The Hofkens legacy, the hidden power line. Not as famous to the general public, but within the expert community, Hofkens pigeons are legendary. The Hofkens family was built with an obsessive focus on muscle quality, wing balance, natural condition, body harmony. These birds became some of the best crossbreeders in Belgium. Their genes appear in Heremans, Van den Abel, Meulemans, Van He, many Antwerp sprint families. While not always winning under the Hofkens name, their blood quietly fueled entire lofts. 2. 9. The Alebrect family, the super middle distance line. Alebrect pigeons became extremely valuable in the 1990s and early 2000s. Their best-known attributes: strong bodies, perfect wing structure, sharp heads, elite performance on 300 to 600 kilometers, These pigeons blended well with Rosablin, Van den Abel, Janssen, and gave rise to multiple great Dutch and Belgian lofts. 2. 10 Staff de Sarduin, the master geneticist. De Sarduin wasn't just a breeder. He was a scientist. His pigeons were built through strict selection, perfect feather elasticity, high vitality, strong orientation, excellent metabolism. Few fanciers had as much understanding of pigeon genetics. De Sarduin's lines later blended into many of the top sprint families. 2. 11 Karel Schellens, the sprint master. Another titan of speed racing. Schellens built his dynasty using sharp, short-distance killers, pure explosive speed types, pigeons that didn't slow down in the final kilometers. Many Dutch and Belgian sprinters still carry Schellens' influence. 2. 12 The rise of Dutch superfamilies, Koopman, Eiderkamp, and beyond. By the 1990s and 2000s, the balance of power shifted. The Netherlands became a hot spot for international pigeon innovation. Koen Gerard Koopman, creators of Kranendonk, Golden Lady, Tips, Olympic Solomon, the Annelies line. Koopman birds became known for elite health, great balance, consistent top results, perfect crossing ability. The Eiderkamp dynasty, a global empire in the pigeon world. Their loft included Janssen, Van Loon, Heremans, Van den Abel, Claudio, Euroline. Eiderkamp became the genetic library of modern pigeon racing, blending and improving the world's best families.
So guys, I hope you liked this one. Please give a thumbs up, subscribe down below, and I hope to see you back on the next one tomorrow. Bye guys.